25 years. Your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
It's been a series saturated with memorable moments. Monday night, Aaron Hicks stole the show with a pair of home runs that served as bookends to a home run robbing catch that would have made Kirby proud. Last night in Game 2, it was Jake Peavy's show. The former Cy Young Award winner pitched with power and precision and continued his dominance at Target Field. And today, it's the rubber match with the series up for grabs. The Twins and White Sox close things out this afternoon at Target Field. While improved pitching was the story in April, it's the offensive output here in May that has stolen the show. Mauer and Morneau both on fire. What is going right now for Justin Morneau, Coom?
Well, Justin Morneau is staying balanced. He really had a hard time, Tommy, early in the season, staying balanced and not falling off the ball a little bit. And a lot of hitters go through that, especially power hitters. Justin Morneau, now you see these swings, the balance at the finish. No falling off, head being able to stay down. This is a great slow-mo. Now watch him at contact. His head snaps down. He's able to continue the turn in his swing, and that is the typical Justin Morneau swing. You talk about keys to a season. They need him to be that 130 RBI guy. That was an MVP.
The M&M boys look to continue their hitting streaks today. Twins offense has been explosive and their defense dazzling. Dick and Bert discuss Minnesota's fine fielding next.
Is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
The Chicago White Sox have gotten very good starting pitching this year. Dylan Axelrod, as well as he's pitched, still looking for win number 1 on the season as the White Sox and Twins meet in Game 3 of this 3-game series. Good afternoon from Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for the Twins. And as we get to the quarter pole of the season, it looks like one of the differences between the Twins and the White Sox might be how they catch and throw the ball.
Yeah, defensively, the White Sox have struggled. For the Twins, they played some very good baseball, especially in this series. We saw Aaron Hicks here a couple nights ago on Monday night make a great catch. Florimon playing outstanding shortstop. Trevor Plouffe with a nice play. 4 double plays turned in last night's ball game behind Kevin Correa. For the Chicago White Sox, this is not the first time that they have done this year. They're having a frustrating season defensively. So 4 errors already in this series. It's a ball club that needs to catch the ball because, like you mentioned, their pitching staff pretty good.
As strong as the White Sox starting staff has been, the Twins hasn't been all that good through the first 35, 40 games of the year. Some encouraging signs, though, from right-hander Mike Pelfrey, who gets the ball today.
Yeah, last 2 starts on the road for Mike Pelfrey. What Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, wanted Pelfrey to do was pick up his tempo, and 2 very good outings, 6 innings in both outings. Hopefully he can repeat that, if not more innings this afternoon.
Well, it is an important series for the Twins, a home series against a divisional opponent. Twins would like to make it a series win, and they'll hope that Mike Pelfrey can give them another good start here this afternoon. After Mike Pelfrey's month of April, of course, knew it was going to be a work of progress, in progress at the start of the year. But Pelfrey's rewarded the Twins through their patience in April with a couple of good starts, a couple of quality starts in May, and that's exactly what the Twins need here this afternoon. Robin Ventura, in his second year managing the White Sox, very upset with his team's play after the first game and had to be encouraged with what happened last night. Here's his Menards batting order for Game 3. Dwayne Wise, followed by Alexei Ramirez, Alex Rios, Adam Dunn. Paul Konerko back in the lineup as Chicago's designated hitter. Connor Gillespie, Diane Viciedo, Jeff Keppinger, and Hector Jimenez.
And Mike Pelfrey making his 8th start, his first career start against the Chicago White Sox, almost what Kevin Correa did last night, made his first career start against the White Sox. course, in the National League, coming over from the Mets. And one thing about Pelfrey, Dick, and you got to remember, last year he got the operation in May, but he only made 3 appearances for the Mets before that surgery. So it was a while for Pelfrey to be on the A mound, and I consider here the A mound. Hopefully Pelfrey can get stronger and stronger as the summer goes on.
Twins out in the field, a much better team than the White Sox have shown so far. Josh Willingham at left, Aaron Hicks with the great catch here 2 nights ago as Waldo Arcia gets right field. Joe Mauer, the designated hitter. Escobar at third, Florimon at short, Carroll at second, Morneau at first, and Ryan Doumit behind the plate. As we said in the pregame show, until it's proven otherwise, it might be best to take Pelfrey's April starts and just set them aside. Here's the first pitch lifted to left field. Looks like the first out's going to come very quick.
Gotta love that.
One down.
That's one thing we have seen from Pelfrey in his starts. Too many pitches over the first 3 innings. Now, Kevin Correa able to go into the 8th inning last night because they only threw 30 pitches in the first 3 innings. Good start right there with Wise swinging at that first pitch.
It's not 98 like it was yesterday here in Minneapolis. It's 68 right now. They say the rain that has developed in Minnesota should stay to the south of us today. One down, and here's Ramirez taking ball 1.
Well, the goal is to try to get this guy out. 6 hits and 15 at-bats between the Ramirez and the Twins pitching staff so far this year, and a .314 career hitter.
There's a lazy fly ball hit to right. 3 pitches, 2 outs.
Very nice. If you have not seen Pelfrey pitch before, a fastball in the low 90s. He'll mix in a slider, big slow curveball, and then a circle changeup.
Wasn't the best of nights for the umpiring crew last night. They'll give it another shot here today. Dan Bellino getting the plate. Wally Bell at first. Manny Gonzalez, Jordan Baker. You know, one chronic problem for the Twins starting staff this year again has been giving up a lot of early runs. And that's been the case here in the Chicago series as well. And Pelfrey delivers strike 1 to Alex Rios.
I mentioned in the open one thing, Rick Anderson. Now Pelfrey getting right back on that pitching rubber, looking for the sign. Pick up that tempo a little bit. So far, so good.
Ron Gardenhire talked about it again today. He says Pelfrey, perhaps because he's coming back from the surgery, has been receptive to being preached that by Rick Anderson and Ron Gardenhire. Fouled away 1 and 2. You know, you get. I mean, Pelfrey's not a spring chicken. He's been at this for a while, and he's like everybody else. You develop habits, and in Pelfrey's case, he was very deliberate on the mound, but he's trying to change right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, Pelfrey in his 8th season at the major league level. Of course, 7 of those with the Mets, but all in all, a guy that puts the ball in play. He's not going to walk a lot of guys. He has given up more hits to innings pitched. Not a lot of strikeouts.
2 and 2.
15 strikeouts in 35 innings pitched so far, but only 9 walks. He's done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Only 2 home runs allowed, both of those in 1 game in Detroit.
A liner into right center field, and that will shoot the gap and go to the wall. Rios to second, and he's going to try for a triple. And he'll reach safely. A stand-up triple with 2 outs in the first.
A lot of times that ball hit like that, it goes all the way to the gap. It'll ricochet back a little bit. That's got stuck between that wall and the little bit of cement back there. And that's what I think Rio saw as he rounded second base or rounded first. See that ball hit sharply. By the time that Arcia and Hicks could get to it, the ball kind of hugged into that wall. And Rios with his first triple of the year, but it does come with 2 outs here in the first inning.
And now Dunn, the cleanup batter. And a strike that tickles the outside corner. 7 home runs on the year for Dunn, 2 of them against the Twins, including 1 last night. Breaking ball. Nope. 1 and 1.
That's that big slow curveball by Pelfrey.
Dunn, of course, would have had a 3rd home run against the Twins this year, except for the great catch in center by Aaron Hicks here 2 nights ago.
Yeah, 413 career home runs for Adam Dunn.
Fouled back 1-2.
Dunn does strike out a lot. He came up with the Cincinnati Reds back in 2003. Also played for the Diamondbacks, the Nationals, in his 3rd season with the Chicago White Sox.
Pelfrey with a look at the runner at third. 1-2 to Dunn. Breaking ball wide of the plate.
Pelfrey, 29 years old, 6'7", about 250. Mets #1 pick back in 2005 out of Wichita State University.
And that drifts outside again.
Dunn making his, Pelfrey making his 157th Major League start. 53 Major League wins.
Looked like it was going to be a real quick top of the 1st inning, but now Pelfrey hoping to get rid of Dunn and get the Twins off the field. This is his 14th pitch of the inning. Whoa! Thought he'd flip the inside corner, but it's ball 4. And Paul Konerko will come up with 2 men aboard. Today's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Yeah, he's always enjoyed hitting against the Twins. 48 career home runs against Minnesota Twins pitching. A .280 career hitter against Twins pitching. He has been struggling this year, just hitting .214.
So 1st and 3rd, 2 down.
Missed the first 2 ball games. Little R&R.
Popped up down the right field line. Carroll chasing it. And Carroll makes the catch in foul territory to end the inning. Konerko leaves 2 aboard. No score after a half. Man, I'm guessing, and the ball 4 pitch that looked like it might have clipped the corner. Gardy's record against the White Sox, a winning one. It's been his most favorite rival within the division. The Menard batting order for the final game of this 3-game series. Jamie Carroll, followed by Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Ryan Doumit, Oswaldo Arcia, Aaron Hicks, Eduardo Escobar, the former White Sox infielder, and then batting ninth, Pedro Florimon against Dylan Axelrod.
Yeah, Axelrod making his 8th start. Still looking for his first win, but 4 of his 7 previous starts have been quality starts. This is his first career start against the Twins, his 3rd appearance. He actually made his Major League debut here in Minnesota back on September 7th, a couple years ago, 2011, in relief. Now in that starting rotation for Robin Ventura and the White Sox.
Carroll in at second base and in the leadoff spot for Brian Dozier, one of the birthday boys for the Twins. And Carroll takes strike 1. Dozier not in the starting lineup. Justin Morneau, the other Twin birthday boy, he's batting cleanup. 1 strike to Jamie Carroll. to the right field corner. Just foul. And Carroll making an early bid for an extra base hit.
Well, vintage Jamie Carroll right there. He'll let that ball get deep into the zone. Very good career hitter, a career 275 hitter. And that's a lot where a lot of his base hits go, the other way. Scouting report on Axelrod. A fastball. There's the fastball right there. Old slider over a curveball, but he has both pitches and a changeup.
Twins hoping to score first, something they've only done 14 times in their 36 games. 2 strikes to Carroll. That's pulled down the line, foul.
It's funny how this season has gone for the Twins. They're 18-18. 12 times this year they have been at 500. So they lose a game, they win a game. They lose a couple, they've had a 5-game winning streak, a 5-game losing streak.
Bauer hoping to hit with a man aboard. Carroll slicing another one foul.
Axelrod in his first 7 starts has worked 41 innings, 12 walks, 1 intentional with 22 strikeouts. He's allowed 5 home runs. Coming off a start against the Angels, he got beat around a little bit. 5 earned runs in 6 innings. Took the loss in that ball game.
Takes up high, 1-2.
Axelrod, 27 years old, originally signed by the Padres, released by the Padres, played independent baseball, then signed by the Chicago White Sox. That back in 2009.
And Carroll drops it down the line, fair. Just missed an extra base hit down the right field line, so he takes one down the left field line and gets a leadoff double.
Working the corners, Jamie Carroll with his 2nd double of the year. Pitch stayed up a little bit. Kind of ran back into him. Jamie Carroll opening up quickly. And right down that left field line. Good start for Jamie Carroll and the Twins.
And now Mauer, the designated hitter. From time to time, you'll see a Twins batter after a extra base hit or an RBI hit, and they'll clasp their hands together and interlock the fingers. The ball sliced foul. That's a sign from the hitter to the dugout. I think it was started by Wilkin Ramirez. All together, everybody together. So even though Carroll got the leadoff double, very similar to the smell 'em thing that Mike Redmond started a few years ago when somebody drove in a run.
All the clubs seem to have their own little niche.
Just off the plate, 1-1.
That's the curveball right there by Axelrod. Mauer currently on a 13-game hitting streak. Been red hot in the month of May.
Grounded right side into right field. Carroll will be held at third. Rios with a good throw to the plate in last night's game, and the Twins have a good start to the first inning in their hopes of getting the first run.
Yeah, Keppinger to the second baseman. Mauer doing the best he can to get Carroll over to third. Well, he does it with a base hit. Pulls the pitch right here. Jamie Carroll easily gets to third, but you don't want to run on this guy in right field. Ball hit pretty sharply. So Mauer now with a 14-game hitting streak.
Ending the suspense early like he did last night with a hit in his first at bat. Here's Josh Willingham. Cracked a double last night. Ron Gardenhire telling me this morning it wasn't so much the double, that was good to see, but where he hit it. The feeling is that Willingham is pulling off the ball a little bit. And he let the ball get in a little deeper and hit it to the opposite field like that foul ball. Now Willingham's a pull hitter, but just as he's trying to reconstruct his swing, just letting the ball travel a little bit deeper and looking at it a little longer.
I think if you talk to all hitters, when they're struggling a little bit, they try to concentrate on hitting the ball back up the middle. Use the gaps rather than the lines, more or less.
Found a gap last night. Foul back, 2 strikes. And like every slumping hitter, he finds himself up there with 0-2 and 1-2 counts seemingly in every at bat.
Well, we saw that from Hicks, at the beginning of the year. We saw it from Justin when Justin was struggling for a while. Now Justin's red hot.
Carroll at third, Bauer at first, infield back. They'll concede the first run on a ground ball. Willingham trying to make sure he puts it in play here. And he gets a base hit, pulling it through the hole. 3 hits to start the ball game, and so far a 1-0 Twins lead.
And Willingham, who picked up an RBI last night, ends up picking up an RBI here, his 17th of the year. And a good start for the Twins. Now, are you going to sing happy birthday to Justin, or do you want me to?
Well, do you think he'd appreciate it?
No, not at all.
As he looks at TiVos the game and watches it later on.
No, I think we should just say happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Justin.
would be enough. Okay.
Happy 32nd birthday to Justin Morneau, and also Brian Dozier, who is not in the lineup right now. Happy 26th birthday to you.
Morneau with a chance to do some early damage. He has really gotten hot in the last week and a half. The hits have come. He's hitting over 300. The RBIs have come. He's got 28 of those. Up high, ball 1. Morneau tied for 8th in the American League in runs batted in with 28, well behind the leader Miguel Cabrera in his 41 runs batted in.
Yeah, Justin on a 10-game hitting streak. 16 hits he's hit safely in and over his last 18 games, hitting at 366.
2-0 to Morneau.
And I think the most important thing, Dick, he's picking up some RBIs. Leads the club with 28.
Liner to the shortstop, and Mauer with an immediate retreat to second base. Hit off the end of the bat, 1 away, and that'll bring up Doman. Northland Ford defense for the White Sox. Range, I think, is an issue for this Chicago team as well. Viciedo doesn't run particularly well in left. Wise, the veteran, in center. Rios in right. Gillespie, Ramirez has good range. Keppinger, average at best. Dunn, range is not his strength. And there's a guy who had great range at the hot corner, Robin Ventura. Here's Ryan Doman with 1 out.
They had Brooks Robinson type hands at third base.
Up and away. Axelrod falling behind Doman. Doman went through that spell you talked about where it seemed like he was behind in the count in every at bat. Batting average languishing in the 100s. Bounce to the right side. And they'll get just the play at first. Both runners moving up. And that gives Arcia a chance with 2 men aboard.
You know, Dick, one thing about Doman or even Willingham, they have been at the major league level for quite a long time, so they know what they have to do. And that's why, Hicks, younger players, it's harder on them, I think, than the veterans. They've been through the ups and downs of a long season.
Don Cooper to the mound here. They're going to chat about the Arcia at bat. Just from where I've been sitting through these years, it seems like a veteran, like a Doman, like a Willingham. In the back of their mind, at least, they know what type of hitter they are by the season's end. Right. Willingham's going to hit 260, 270. He's going to have his 25, 30 home runs, 100 runs batted in. Aaron Hicks doesn't know that yet.
Right, exactly.
And neither does Oswaldo Arcia.
Yeah, you can do it in the minor leagues, but a little different here at the varsity level.
You don't know how your individual game plays up here until you do it 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, you saw Don Cooper go out there. Quick trip to the mound by the pitching coach, Don Cooper.
Couple of rookies due up next for the Twins. First Arcia and then Hicks. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Arcia having an immediate impact on this lineup. This rookie hitting well in this situation, but also overall hitting 300 on the year. And he goes after that cutter inside, a swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
2 straight breaking balls, whatever Cooper told him, maybe more breaking balls to Arcia.
Oh, 2, the Twins right fielder. Just off the plate, 1 and 2.
Well, that's a slider, so 3 straight breaking balls to Arcia.
Axelrod trying to do a little damage control here with the first 3 batters getting base hits. 1 and 2. That's strike 3, and Arcia is tagged and the inning. So Axelrod succeeds in limiting the damage. The Twins get 1 on 3 hits right out of the gate.
Very special day for a couple of Twins, both Justin Morneau and Brian Dozier celebrating their birthdays. Now, Justin is 32 years old today. He's had a lot of success on his birthday, batting .360 with 8 RBI in 7 games played on his special day. He also celebrated with 2 home runs in both '07 and '09. Brian Dozier is not in the starting lineup today. He's 26 years old, but Gardy said maybe he'll get him in later in the game and come up with a big hit. We saw how Oswaldo Arcia celebrated his birthday with a triple and a homer last week. Dick and Bert, maybe the same thing coming today.
Well, the Twins can certainly hope so. Thank you, Jamie.
Yep, we hope so.
2-0 to Connor Gillespie leading off the second inning.
Gillespie starting at third in last night's ball game, got a couple hits and 4 at-bats.
And now missing 3-0. Pelfrey had his great start against a red-hot hitting Cleveland Indian team on the road trip. Picked up the win, 6 innings, just 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 1 run. There's a strike. In his start to start the homestand here against the Orioles, not quite as effective, but he did pitch 5 shutout innings until the Orioles doubled him to death with 4 doubles and 3 runs in the 6th.
Another fastball.
And a liner to left and a base hit to start the second inning. So Gillespie aboard with a single. That'll bring up Viciedo. Diane Viciedo hit one last night where not many human beings have hit one.
No, I think Jose Bautista might be the only one that's hit one in that third deck up there. I don't recall if Willingham has hit one up that high.
I don't believe so. I think Nelson Cruz hit one up there for the Rangers a few years ago.
That's a poke. If you're going to give them up like that. I mean, they're still talking about it today.
And it only meant 1 run. I mean, you lost by 2 runs. That's every run is important, but give the fans their money's worth, right?
A little hanging breaking ball, I believe, from Correa.
There goes the runner. The pitch grounded. Morneau with a quick out at first, and on the play, Gillespie advances to second.
Yeah, I think Ventura tried a little hit and run right there as Gillespie took off for second base. Viciedo trying to hit that ball to right field, but hits it right at Justin for the first out. On the play, Gillespie does move into scoring position.
That'll bring up Jeff Keppinger. And a very disappointing start to the Sox career for Keppinger.
Keppinger, kind of a journeyman. He's played now with 7 different major league teams. Came up with the Mets in 2004. Last year with the Rays in 115 games, he hit .325.
Had an on-base percentage of .367. All the numbers really good.
Yeah. Career .288 hitter, so he's struggling here.
2-0. His on-base percentage less than half of what it was in his breakout year, if you want to call it that, with the Rays.
He has not taken a walk in 32 ball games for him in 130 at-bats. Struck out only 14 times.
Back to Pelfrey. Juggles it. Thought about going to second. Gets the sure out at first. 2 down, and that'll bring up Jimenez. Twins tickets remain available and affordable. Get fed and entertained starting at just $13. The Sports Authority Value Pack Tuesdays and Thursdays include a ticket, hot dog, and a soft drink. This and other special deals are available every day of the week at twinsbaseball.com/tickets or by calling 800-33-TWINS. Don't try to take advantage of the Sports Authority Value Pack Thursday tomorrow because there will be no game here.
What a great day for kids, though. This place is packed full of young kids.
Here's Jimenez, the backup catcher for the White Sox. Check swing and a strike. Twins will enjoy the off day tomorrow. It's been kind of a long grind. The last off day they had was before the series in Cleveland. And the Red Sox come to town for 3. And the Twins head out on another long road trip. One strike to Jimenez. Inside a ball.
Yeah, Jimenez a switch hitting catcher in his second season with the White Sox. Last year only played in 5 games. Came up with the Astros in 2006. Went back to the minor leagues, reemerged to the major league level with the Dodgers in 2011. Not a lot of major league at time for Jimenez.
One and one. Slap foul, 1-2. Pelfrey trying to pitch around a leadoff single here in the second. He wasted a 2-out triple in the first. You're talking about Keppinger not walking much. The White Sox don't walk much. I mean, here's Dunn, who walked earlier today. That's just his 15th walk, and the team's 85th. In this, their 38th game. When you're hitting .233 and you're not drawing many walks, it's kind of hard to score runs. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Jimenez strikes out. And Gillespie's left at second base. First, you can get involved in our broadcast. Let us know who you think will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234234.
Beautiful day here at Target Field.
Aaron Hicks leading off the second. Eduardo Escobar and Pedro Florimon will follow. Down and away, ball one. Hicks held hitless in the ball game last night. Didn't do anything to make you jump out of your seat last night. Two and 0. So that meant today is a more normal day for Aaron Hicks. Hitting 7th in the batting order in front of Escobar and Florimon. And an off-speed pitch hitting the corner. 2-1.
Yeah, Twins have 4 switch hitters on their roster. All 4 of them in the ball game today. We saw Domit already. Now Hicks, and then Escobar, and then Florimon. Fastball inside.
Showing bunt, taking ball 3. Ron Gardenhire was talking about that this morning. He said when he was a coach with the Twins, Chili Davis was a player. He talked with Chili about switch hitting and the challenges, and Chili said, be careful what you wish for being a switch hitter, because you might be going good from one side of the plate and you're swinging the other side of the plate's all messed up, and you don't get a chance to practice that. Swinging a miss 3-2 because you might not see a left-handed pitcher
right
for a long period of time.
Well, Baltimore was just in talking about Alexi Casilla, maybe thinking of eliminating, hitting from the left side, hitting more right-handed.
3-2 to Hicks, trying to get aboard here to begin the second inning. Fouled. Still
tried to sneak that fastball by him. Not an overpowering fastball, but seen Axelrod throw a lot of breaking balls so far here in the first inning plus.
Popped up near the Chicago dugout and out of play. As we said with Pelfrey, maybe just a good idea to take the April starts and just put them aside for a while. So too for Hicks. Since April 21st, and it's an arbitrary number, but maybe a better indication of where he's at right now. Since April 21st, Hicks is hitting .233 with 12 runs batted in, and all 3 of his home runs.
Well, that's the thing. He's hitting 148 overall, but he has driven in 15 runs.
Right. A high pop-up down the right field line. Dunn will chase it. So, for that matter, will Keppinger, and Dunn makes the catch on the warning track. 1 away.
Well, the big man, Dunn going back. And grabs it for the first out.
1 down, and now Eduardo Escobar. Escobar's first plate appearance of the series. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Last year with the White Sox, was with them until the Liriano trade all year long, and he only got 87 at bats. Takes a ball 1-1. He's seen more playing time for the Twins. This will be his, barring a walk or a hit batter, this will be his 54th at bat. And a drive to right field. This ball's up. It is gone. A home run for Eduardo Escobar.
Tell you, Escobar has shown some power this year. His second home run, his second major league home run. His first one coming in Kansas City. He jumped on this pitch, almost left the ground right there. High fastball. And Escobar makes it a 2-0 Twins lead.
Didn't homer for the White Sox. And 94 at bats over 2 years. He has 2 this year with the Twins, as Bert mentioned. Now a pitch up high to Florimon.
Yeah, the other home run coming April 9th against Jeremy Guthrie. That was a solo home run.
2-0 to Florimon.
Always nice to come back and play against the organization that signed you and then ended up trading you, and hopefully having a good day, and so far a very good day for Escobar.
And Florimon takes a strike. Don't believe he offered at it with the bat. 2-1. Dribbler to the right side. Easy play for Keppinger. 2 down. And that'll bring up Jamie Carroll. The measurement on Escobar's home run, 366 feet, which counts exactly the same amount on the scoreboard as Viciedo's home run into the third deck.
A run's a run.
You know, it is the power, I think, that surprised everybody. Escobar, we've talked about it before, what we saw of him last year, and he had a hand injury, so it was really unfair to judge him at all last year when he was with the Twins. But he just looked like there was no strength there, that he would never be able to be more than a singles hitter at best. But my goodness, the walk-off double against the Tigers here in that opening series, couple of home runs, the one in Kansas City to the opposite field. 1 strike, and Carroll fouls it over the Twins dugout. Oh, what a catch!
Nice grab. You bring your glove, all ready for a line drive right at you, and he made a great catch. Down to our right here. We got to witness it.
Two strikes to Carroll. Fell behind early to Axelrod in the first, and then hooked a double down the left field line, and now a solid single to left. That's twice now Axelrod has gotten ahead of Carroll and seen the veteran get a base hit.
That's a nice swing right there by, looked like Carroll got a breaking ball, and he kind of committed and then held his hands, kept his hands back. Watch the breaking ball, and then that left foot kind of went out a little bit, but look at the hands staying back. And he's able to hit in the left field his second hit.
And now Mauer.
That's a veteran hitter right there.
Mauer pulled a single through the hole on the right side of the infield, his first time up, sending Carroll from second to third. Carroll scored on Willingham's single. A little flare into left. Mauer's 2 for 2. Carroll's going to dig for third, and he'll reach safely. Carroll saw that Viciedo was running to his left and would have an awkward throw to make if he made one at all, and alertly went to third.
Yeah, there's that veteran hustle too right there. Jamie Carroll reading it perfectly. 12th major league season for Carroll. Joe Mauer, a softly hit in front of Viciedo, who has to kind of spin around, and that's what Carroll sees, so he scoots over to third.
Now Willingham, who doubled last night, drove in a run with a single in his first at bat here tonight, hasn't homered yet in the month of May. Span of 47 at bats. Slider away.
Yeah, Willingham's last home run coming April 29th in Detroit.
That was the road trip that you did not go on.
But he hit a solo home run off of Max Scherzer. I witnessed it on TV.
You watch the Twins feed or the other guy's feed? When
I watch the Twins
feed. Do you really?
Yes, I do. I don't want to listen to those other guys.
I'm surprised that you want to listen to me.
Well,
I think one of the main points.
I turned the radio on. I turned the volume down.
I say one of the main reasons I would think you'd take a vacation is to get away from my voice.
No, it's embedded in my brain.
Is it?
Hit a big hit right here off the bat of Willingham.
A couple of 2-out singles, and Willingham's trying to get the payoff here. 2-1.
Well, last night the Twins were only able to score a couple runs off of Jake Peavy, and both those runs came with 2 outs. Twins are doing a pretty good job this year hitting with 2 outs with runners in scoring position.
Challenging Willingham. Axelrod got it up.
Yeah, a little
maybe
bit
out
too
of
high.
the strike zone. Yeah. 2-2. Six hits already for the Twins. In this inning, Escobar's home run and Carroll and Mauer's singles.
Yeah, Axelrod, this will be pitch number 45, trying to get the final out here in the second inning.
3-2. Nice dig by Jimenez. Mauer will take off from first, and Morneau hoping for a chance here in the second inning.
Axelrod in his first 7 starts has allowed 5 home runs.
Backhanded by Ramirez. A nice play to throw him out. He was playing him in the hole, and Willingham hit it exactly where the single went in the first inning. This time it was intercepted by Ramirez. Former White Sox player Eduardo Escobar making it 2-0 Minnesota. That sets up our AT&T Twitter poll. We're now asking you, who had the better catch against the White Sox? Torrey Hunter against Carlos Lee years ago? Or Aaron Hicks against Adam Dunn 2 nights ago? Use the hashtags Hicks catch or hashtag Hunter catch, and we'll give you the final results later in the game. You have a favorite? We're not allowed to vote.
I'm a former pitcher. Both of them were great catches. They saved runs.
Paling in comparison to some of the catches Puckett made behind you, right?
Yes. All my center fielders.
Here's Dwayne Wise leading off the Chicago third.
And my left fielders and my right fielders.
I don't know if I were to vote, and it's close because I remember Torrey's catch vividly, but the Hicks one more fresher in my memory. And plus what he did to bookend the catch, you know, a couple of home runs. That's not the essence of the question, I know, but anyway, we'll let you decide, you viewers decide the answer to that. Here's a drive to left. Willingham hardly has to move, and Diaza for the second time Wise for the second time in the game flies out to Willingham. You can ask a question online at carsoup.com/baseball. Mike in St. Paul wondering what's been the biggest key to the Twins' recent improvement on defense.
I just think, you know, guys are starting to get familiar with everything. I think Florimon has done a very good job at third. Gardy's trying to play everybody too, and I think that helps a lot. Giving guys breaks here or there. Escobar's, I think, done a very good job wherever he has played. Carroll, you got the veteran right there that can play all three infield positions. In the outfield, you got Willingham. You know, he's not going to have a lot of range, but he hasn't committed an error. Hicks, we're going to see some great catches as, you know, his career in a Twins uniform. And right field between Parmelee, you know, and Arcia. Done a good job out there. Two good catchers in Mauer and Domit. Guys that handle pitching staffs very well, communicate well with the staff. Justin has not made an error at first yet. So all in all, Dozier's done a good job at second. I think all in all, everybody's played well, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was an across-the-board point of emphasis. Not that it wasn't before, but you know, you were down there in spring training. I mean, they worked extra hard at every facet of the game, from holding runners on. Pitchers have done a much better job of that, and it might mean just a handful of runs over the course of the season, but those runs can make the difference between a win and a loss.
Exactly.
The one thing, and we talked a little bit about this, at least some of us did at breakfast, for me, and I'm just a watcher of the game here, but for me, now there's a guy at first, and there's a ground ball hit, and you assume it's going to be a double play. Last year, I was gripping my pencil tighter. I mean, it was white knuckle time, it seemed like, with a ground ball, whether the Twins would be able to turn a double play that should have been turned. Ramirez strikes out number 2.
Good fastball inside, kind of tied Ramirez up. A right-handed hitter that stands right on top of the plate. And Pelfrey picks up his second strikeout. Watch this pitch right there. Run in on Ramirez.
Almost hit him in the right hip.
Yep.
2 down, and here's Rios. You got a Twins team, and there's been some discrepancy in the paper that they've included all double plays, line drive double plays, and catch them, strike them out, throw them out double plays, but ground ball double plays. The Twins have turned 36 of them in 36 games.
It's almost like one a game.
Pretty close to that.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the execution of the ground ball double play was nearly as efficient the last 2 years as it's been so far this year. Rios with another base hit, his second of the ball game, and each have come with 2 outs in an inning.
Yeah, last time up he got a pitch away and then lined it in that gap in right center and ended up getting a triple. Right here, pitch up a little bit, but able to fight it off and hit it softly into right center. See Domit sitting inside, the ball left out a little bit, but Rios, good hitter, hits it softly into right field. But again, it comes with 2 outs.
Pelfrey will go after Dunn. He ended up walking him with a couple of bases open in the first inning and got Konerko. There's a strike on the outside corner.
I think this is the area that Rick Anderson's talked about Pelfrey, about picking up the pace more in the windup, yes, but also in the stretch position. Remember in April, we just seemed like he would take almost 30 seconds between pitches, where now he's set, ready to go. Rios, good speed at first, 6 stolen bases in 9 attempts.
1-1.
And I think that helps the defense too, Dick. You know, we're talking defense. It all goes off the pitcher, how that pitcher goes about his business. Got a staff really that doesn't strike out a lot of players, so they're going to make them put the ball in play.
Rios goes, and Doman won't bother throwing.
Got a great jump right there. Rios steals his 7th base of the year and gets in a scoring position with 2 outs.
White Sox stole a base last night without a throw.
Yeah, that was Ramirez that stole a base last night. Here, Rios and Domit doing the right thing.
Two and 1 to Dunn. Dunn with 26 at bats against Mike Pelfrey. 6 hits, including a home run. That drifts outside 3-1, and of course by stealing into second base. Rios into second base. First base now open for Dunn. If the Twins walk Dunn, they would have a fresh count now with Konerko coming up.
Yeah, this is a dangerous pitch right here as a pitcher. You don't want to make a mistake because you leave it up. This guy can hit the ball a long way. Konerko on deck. He's been struggling. And he challenged him right there with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And Dunn swinging through it. Dunn looking fastball. Ooh.
Full count to Dunn. Foul back, left to pitch up. And again on the screen it says 93. We saw Pelfrey in Cleveland top out at 95, but he hit it on a regular basis, and Terry Ryan said no, the gun's a little hot in Cleveland. So we took him at his word, but still, I mean, 93, that's...
Well, I'm not a big believer in the gun as much as if Nolan Ryan or Randy Johnson's out there, then you see if they can top 100, but it's location. Give me that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, good spot over a 93 that's right there.
Foul back. Pelfrey trying to put Dunn away and come off the field with a 2-0 lead. White Sox started the game 2 nights ago with a 2-0 lead, but it didn't last. Last night their 2-0 lead, well, that lead didn't last, but then they added 2 more runs late. So the team that scored first in this series is 1-1. Another 3-2 to Adam Dunn. Changeup blasted to center, and he's just tied the game. So Dunn got an off-speed pitch, and he cranks it over the 411 mark. It's 2 apiece.
Yeah, if you're going to throw a changeup right there, he just fouled off 3 fastballs. He swung through the 3-1, then he fouled off a couple high fastballs, and you could see he was a little late on those 93-mile-an-hour fastballs. So what does they do? They slow up the pitch, but speeds up his bat. And Dunn caught up to that changeup and hit it straight away center. So Dunn hitting his 2nd home run of the series, his 8th of the year, and it's a 2-2 ball game.
Now Konerko, 2 gone, bases empty, and ball 1.
Only the 3rd home run that Pelfrey has allowed.
8 home runs for Dunn, and 3 of them now have come against the Twins. And this is the 5th game. Pounded foul.
See, I would be like Jake Peavy right now. I would be so upset at myself out on that mound for doing that. I mean, you throw the fastball, and he's tardy on the fastballs. So what do? You throw him an off-speed pitch, allow the barrel of the bat to catch up, elevate. You have to make sure that changeup almost was on top of home plate.
1-1.
That was not a good pitch.
Inside 2-1. White Sox are in last place in their division, and their hopes of climbing out of last and getting toward the top probably rest on the guy in the batter's box right now. 3-1. If there was any doubt about the heart and soul of this White Sox team, who it was, that doubt lifted. Konerko really struggling, and the team struggling to score runs, which has never been a problem in Chicago. 3-1. Konerko takes a strike, 3-2.
Well, Konerko's always been a good hitter. I remember 4 or 5 years ago he started the season off very poorly and then turned it on after the All-Star break. A career .283 hitter in his 15th season with the Chicago White Sox. When you get to this age, 37, they say, boy, is it about time that his career comes to an end? But this guy's a professional hitter.
Bounce foul.
You're going to run through slumps. We see, hey, Joe Mauer went through a slump earlier, But Konerko, 226 career home runs for Paul Konerko.
As much as he struggled,
426.
Yeah, much as he struggled, I can tell you this: Ron Gardenhire and the Twins were thrilled that he was not in the lineup in the first 2 games. Full count. Pelfrey throwing his 54th pitch of the ball game. Another bouncer foul.
Well, Pelfrey's longest outings in his 7 starts have been his last 2 starts, going 6 innings because of the early high pitch count. Kevin Correa last night, 25 pitches last night, or 25 pitches this inning. First 3 innings last night, Kevin Correa, total of 30 pitches. That's how you get deeper into the ball game.
And he walked him, so Konerko draws a walk, and the inning continues. That'll bring up Conor Gillespie.
First walk for Pelfrey.
Florimone in to chat with his pitcher. Do you like it when a middle infielder, didn't have to be a middle infielder, typically it's a shortstop, came in and talked to you?
No, not at all. Not at all, as long as they speak English.
Use small words. Speak slowly and loudly. I mentioned Leo Cardenas last night, how he'd flatten his glove. Was he a shortstop that came to the mound a lot?
No, not too often. A lot of times they want to make sure what sign that you're using with the runner on.
Here's Gillespie. And there's strike 1. No, I beg your pardon. Low. 1. Playing Little League ball, I'd see on TV shortstops going to talk to the mound talk to the pitcher on the mound all the time. I just thought that was part of a shortstop's job. Little League game, I'd go to the mound. I had no idea what to say. I just figured that was something shortstops were supposed to do.
Just say hello.
Yeah. Going to Dairy Queen after the game. What are we doing? 1-1. Pelfrey trying to wrap up this long top of the 3rd inning. Fouled away. 1-2.
Yeah, between Adam Dunn and Paul Konerko, 17 pitches were thrown to those 2 guys. Dunn finally got that change up and hit the 2-run home run. Paul Konerko drew the walk.
And 2-2.
Pelfrey in his last start against the Orioles here last Friday, he threw 55 pitches in the first 3 innings. Ended up throwing 104 in 6 innings. So too many pitches in a short amount of time.
Breaking ball pops straight up in the air. Looks like it's playable for Doman. Finally, the end of the 3rd. With a 2-out single backed up by a 2-out home run, and we're tied.
Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. 2 apiece. Justin Morneau leading off the bottom of the third, and he takes outside ball 1. It'll be Morneau, Domet, and Arcia. Popped up, chased by Gillespie, and out of play. Morneau hit a broken bat liner to the shortstop Ramirez. It was the first out of the first inning. And Axelrod was teetering on the edge of the ice in the first inning. The first 3 batters got hits, but then he got the next 3 batters and gave up just 1 run. Ooh, called strike, and Morneau can't believe it. And Bellino calling that a strike, and it looked like it broke around the plate.
Let's take a look at the last pitch. Axelrod throwing a lot of breaking balls.
1-2. And that's hit to right field. Morneau hit another one right off the end of the bat. That had the weirdest sound when it left home plate, almost like it hit a wiffle ball bat.
Well, it had a lot of spin too, because when that ball hit the turf on the infield, that ball kind of spun away from Keppinger right off the end of the bat. Keppinger going to his right. Ball kind of shot past him right here. Hit the dirt and then shot into right field.
Now the ball's not round anymore. He just threw it out.
Why would you throw it out? My goodness. Those are the ones you keep. The 11-game hitting streak now for Justin.
Here's Domet, hit a ground ball to second his first time up. Another breaking pitch in the dirt. One and 0.
Axelrod making his 18th major league start, his 26th major league appearance. Has 3 major league wins, 2 as a starter, 1 as a reliever.
Ground ball headed up the middle and through. Morneau will round second and go to third. No, he'll slam on the brakes. And Wise gets it back in quickly. A little bit different pattern. I think an alert play here. You had the difference between a right-handed throwing left fielder when Carroll took off for third base and a left-handed throwing center fielder.
Well, that ball hit pretty sharply, and Wise right there, he's a veteran. He kind of gets to that ball very quickly. Justin saw that, and I mean, if he bobbles the ball, then Justin's momentum maybe will take him to third, but Wise pretty sure-handed out in center field.
Maybe if Wise had to field the ball and then reverse his momentum and try to deliver a throw, but because he's a left-handed thrower, he wouldn't have had to do that. Here's Arcia. Went down swinging to wrap up the first inning.
A
lot of breaking balls.
8 hits already for the Twins.
And a check swing foul, 1 strike. Arcia got a lot of off-speed stuff with 2 men on, both of them in scoring position.
Well, and that was after Don Cooper went out there too, so maybe he said, hey, let's just feed this guy a lot of breaking balls. He ended up striking him out to end the first inning.
Spin it up there, see what happens. Another spinner, 1-1.
These are the adjustments too that a rookie like Hicks or Arcia will have to try to see how different clubs go about pitching them. Like a changeup right there, something down.
All right, so
the scouting reports get out there pretty quickly. If you're on a fastball and you're all of a sudden you put up good numbers on that fastball, boy, clubs, that scouting report's going to say, hey, pretty good fastball hitter, not as good on the breaking ball. We'll see what Axelrod does right here. Ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Remember, he struck him out on that curveball down and in to end the first inning.
Popped up near the Chicago dugout. Gillespie with a look at it, and he makes the catch. And Arcia leaves the runners on, 1 away.
Hey, went with a high fastball right there, and Arcia popped it straight up.
Now Hicks. Hicks fouled out to Dunn his first time up. Hicks with 16 hits, and as we discussed last night, he's also scored 16 runs and driven in 15. This with a, well, right now, 147 batting average. So assuming he's a guy that can hit between 250, 280, 300 maybe, he has shown in the depths of his slump the ability to drive in runs and score them. First and second, 1 out. In the dirt, and we saw Jimenez in the first 2 innings dig a lot of those pitches out of the dirt. The road trip when we were in Boston, Carlton Fisk was nice enough to stop by, and I remember when he was playing for the White Sox, I interviewed him once, and he talked about how he kept track one year of how many runs he thought he saved just by blocking pitches in the dirt successfully. And I think the number was like 260, 265 runs. Didn't score because he was doing his job, but to try to stress the importance of how critically important that is for a pitcher to block them and then call them in the dirt, call pitches in the dirt. 1-0. Check swing. 2-0.
I'll tell you what, if you're a pitcher out there and you got a pretty good curveball or a breaking ball, and you get into that 1-2 situation, you have to bounce that curveball on the other side of home plate. It's a great feeling knowing that your catcher will block it.
Not the best of Mays, but certainly better than April for Hicks. 2-0.
I was fortunate, and one of them was here, Sal Butera.
To left center field, chased by Wise, and he makes the catch. Morneau will tag. First and third, 2 away, and let's go to Jamie Hurst.
Well, as Eduardo Escobar steps up to the plate, you might hear in the background Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta singing "You're the One That I Want" from Grease. He just changed his walk-up song this homestand, and he's not an everyday fixture in the lineup. So when I asked Gardy about it, he said, well, why do you think I put him in today? I love that song. I want to hear that song. And of course, Escobar, when I asked him about it, told me he actually just saw the movie. He loves the movie, and particularly this scene. So this is a young guy. He likes to have a lot of fun out there. Clearly, it helps him at the plate. We've already seen a home run from him today.
I like that. He's got a nice upbeat. Now, if you were a player, what would your song be, Dick?
Oh,
when
boy.
you came up to home plate?
I have to think about that. I was going to ask you that. You were a player. Escobar takes a strike.
When I did, I wouldn't say hit. When I went up there to swing, I would want In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
Yeah. I remember
the long version, because
the song will last longer than your at bats.
Oh, definitely.
1 strike to Escobar.
And they could play it too while I'm still up there. It wouldn't bother me.
Another nice block by Jimenez. I remember when the Twins had Joe Crede, and the first time we went to Chicago, and he knew he was going to get abused by his former teammates. And when he walked up, I think it was some really awful ABBA song or something like that. And Crede smiled a little bit, stepped in the box. And I think, didn't he hit a home run, I think, in his first at bat against the White Sox? One and one to Escobar, who homered his first time up. Looking to get a hit here, get the Twins back in front. Bounce to the right side, hit at Keppinger. And the Twins get a couple of hits, strand a couple of runners. We're tied going to the 4th. Eduardo Escobar for the Twins and Adam Dunn for the White Sox.
Well, Escobar hitting his second career home run. That gave the Twins a 2-0 lead. That coming in the second inning, but a 3-2 changeup to Adam Dunn tied the game with his second home run of the series and his 8th on the season.
We go to the 4th inning, tied at 2. It'll be the bottom third of the White Sox order: Viciedo, Keppinger, and Jimenez. I've thought about it during the commercial break as to what my walk-up music would be, and you've seen me.
Is it out of the Mary Poppins?
No.
Okay.
You've seen my inability to hit in the fantasy camp, so I would want as many positive vibes as I could.
I saw you hit a grand slam. And Tupper hasn't been back since.
There's Viciedo ball.
So go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
I would want as many positive vibes as I could get as I stepped into the batter's box, so therefore it would have to be Meatloaf, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Right?
Not bad.
That'd be a good walk-up song, wouldn't it? 2-0 to Viciedo.
Meatloaf for a meatball.
Whatever. Pelfrey with 62 pitches thrown. Fouled away, 2-1.
Yeah, both starters really struggling as far as trying to get some quick outs. Axelrod 3 innings, 62 pitches thrown. Pelfrey now with 63 pitches, trying to get the first out here in the 4th inning.
I got a dirty look from you the other day. I get a lot of dirty looks from you, but this one in particular was one I mentioned with 5 games before the next off day. Here's a fly to right field, hit pretty well.
Whoa.
And gone, a home run to the opposite field. Viciedo puts the White Sox in front.
That ball just kept going and going.
Pelfrey, who's given up just 2 home runs coming into his start here today, has given up home runs in back-to-back innings.
Well, fastball away, pretty much down the middle of the plate. Viciedo took one out yesterday to the 3rd deck. Right off the railing there, just over the fence in right center.
Almost into the Jim Thome Memorial flower bed. Here's a drive to center. Hicks is over, makes the catch 1-1. But what I asked the other day, or what I stated the other day, the Twins had 5 games before the off day coming up tomorrow, the last 2 games of the Baltimore series and the 3 here. So every starter was going to get a turn. And what the Twins needed was at least, and I emphasize the term at least to you, at least 30 innings in those 5 games, meaning, again, if my Minnesota high school math is correct, 6 innings to start.
Very good.
To do that, Pelfrey's got to go 6 2/3 here today, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what you hope throughout the summer. Okay, April went, now we're in the middle of May. As everything heats up a little bit, you hope that your starting staff can average over 6 innings to start. It's still a low number, but that's kind of way the game has gone because of the 100 pitch count.
But with
12, if you can average 7, Scott Diamond did that almost last year. If 3 or 4 guys on that staff can do that, you're looking at 3 or 4 guys that can maybe pitch 200 innings this year.
Every team has at least 12 pitchers now, 7 relief pitchers and a bullpen. Fouled away. You can, with all that pitching available to you, you can survive 6 innings and start.
But you need a couple guys in that rotation. Maybe Kevin Correa, Scott Diamond, or those 2 guys that you have to feed off of. That can go 7, 8 innings. Get into the 8th inning. Maybe a complete game now and then.
Swing and a miss. Jimenez strikes out 2 away.
Pelfrey getting Jimenez for the 2nd time, picking up his 3rd strikeout.
Big Ten baseball tournament's coming to Target Field next week. When you're on the road, you can check out the Big Ten's best May 22nd through the 25th. It's the first time the Big Ten will hold its baseball tournament in a major league ballpark, and tickets are available. Find out how to take advantage of Big Ten baseball at Target Field by calling 800-33-TWINS for ticket prices and details. I guess in reflecting on this, I'm a little surprised that the Metrodome didn't host the tournament while the Twins were out of town. You could have guaranteed the games for sure. There's Wise, a couple of flies to left.
I just go back to the 87-91 World Series here in Minnesota, and you look at who the 91 club had, for example. You had Morris, you had Tapani, you had Erickson. Those were the three horses right there. In the 91 World Series, they rode them all the way to the end of the World Series. In 87, it was basically Frankie Viola, myself, and then, Lester.
Straker.
Yeah, Les Straker that kind of did a lot of the innings pitched. That's why you need three guys on your staff that will, in today's game, pitch 200, 220 innings to have a successful season. Detroit will do it. That's why I think they're favorite in the division. Chicago has two guys. If Jake Peavy stays healthy and they keep him, he and Chris Sale are the two guys for the Chicago White Sox.
Full count to Wise. Bouncer headed up the middle. Picked off by Florimon. Spins and fires. Oh, what a fine play.
Great play.
Florimon to his left. A nice dig at first by Morneau. And the inning ends. Day of work for them. Just a couple of runs so far. And our Pepsi fans of the game and what appears to be a capacity crowd here at Target Field.
Well, happy birthday to you.
And Brian Dozier too. Pedro Florimon will lead things off for the Twins in the fourth, trailing today for the first time, 3-2. And 8 hits against Dylan Axelrod. A leadoff double, a run scored in the first. A pair of hits to start the third inning, but the Twins didn't convert. And now down and in, 1-1.
Yeah, Twins will left 6 men on base over the first 3 innings against Axelrod.
Suddenly the White Sox looked like the White Sox of old. Which won the game last night with their power. A couple of home runs today to take a 3-2 lead.
Well, that's why they feel they can get back in the race if their offense picks up. The pitching staff has been very good. Good starting staff. Bullpen has been okay.
2 Hopper to Dunn. 1 away. Florimon retired, but he retired the White Sox in the top of this inning.
Yeah, nice play right here off the bat of Dwayne Wise, who at 35 years old still gets down that line very quickly. But Florimon going to his left, spins around, and a nice scoop by Justin over at first to retire the White Sox in the top of the fourth.
Carroll with a couple of hits. He'll hit with one out in the fourth. Axelrod looking for his first win of the year, a respectable ERA of 4.17 coming into the game. And a belt high strike taken by Carroll. Carroll with so far roughly half, less than half, the number of at-bats he had a year ago at this time. 2 hits and 2 at-bats today, only 45 at-bats on the year. Fouled away 1 and 2.
I've always said Jamie Carroll, just a veteran, 39 years old, 12th major league season, career .276 hitter. Comes to the ballpark expecting to play. If he doesn't, he gets ready for when he's able to play. He's one of the leaders on the ball club by his example.
Not sure where that pitch missed. 2 and 2. Last year, a career high 470 at bats in his first year with the Twins. 2 and 2. Full count. And Mauer on deck.
And no walks yet for Axelrod with 1 strikeout.
Breaking ball got him.
Carroll knew it.
2 down.
Axelrod picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Couple of singles already for Mauer and a .350 batting average.
A lot of the hits for a 14-game hitting streak for Joe Mauer. 10 doubles. He has scored 13 times. Getting closer and closer to his career high hitting streak. That coming back in 2008 when he had a 16-game hitting streak.
Outside, ball 1. And I still think it's amazing. Here he is using 2 bats since the Baltimore series over 5 weeks ago. Seems like you can't go through a half inning without some player swinging a bat, and there's shrapnel all over the infield with the bat exploding. And Mauer's used 2 bats for nearly 6 weeks. Strike on the outside corner.
I think we saw last night against Jake Peavy. Peavy went in on him on a pitch that Joe was still able to open up and still get the barrel of the bat for a base hit. Very quick hands.
Tapper right side, easy play for Keppinger. And by far the easiest inning for Dylan Axelrod as he sets the Twins down 1-2-3.
Sox 3-2 as we head to the 5th inning. I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle. We're here with Amber, who's with a bunch of coworkers enjoying a day at the ballpark. Not a bad way to spend a Wednesday, but you said you spent 2 hours making this sign. It looks great.
Thanks. Yeah, it took us forever. Actually, a big thank you to my friend Amy if she's listening right now, because she did help me make this. The glitter and cutting everything out and painting it, it was a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, and it paid off because, hey, we're going to give you $100 worth of scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota Lottery. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Enjoy the ball game.
You as well.
Dick and Bert, how about that sign?
Very nice sign. Thank you, Jeremy. And that's one thing about the Circle Me Bert signs. It's not only one person making it. It's a group of people that sometimes make these signs. So it's kind of cool. Nice little community project and a family project at that.
1-2 to Alexi Ramirez. He'll be followed by Alex Rios and Adam Dunn. Pelfrey hoping to have a much better time of it than he had the last 2 innings. And there's another leadoff hit. Third leadoff hit. And Ramirez has been a tough out in this series. He's aboard here leading off the 5th. Celebrate with the Twins the 20th anniversary of the Sandlot with a special screening on the Target Field scoreboard Sunday after the Twins game. Special guests include the director and narrator David Mickey Evans, plus Ham and other members from the cast. Get your tickets. You can go to the game, stay for the Sandlot screening, and if you can't make it to the game, watch it all from home on Sunday on Fox Sports North. You're killing me, Smalls. It's one of my favorite lines from the movie.
The Beast.
Rios with 2 hits, a triple.
Movie was made, 20 years ago?
Well, believe it or not, I had that exact same discussion at the breakfast table with my children. There's a drive to center. Hicks coming in. He'll play it on a hop. And my son reminded me that if they're celebrating the 20th anniversary, the movie was probably made 20 years ago.
Yeah. You know why? That's why your son's going to Northwestern. Third straight hit for Rios.
I think it speaks more to my lack of intelligence than his. I said, how old a movie? Well, Dad, if they're celebrating the 20th anniversary, it's probably they made it 20 years ago. And as usual, he was absolutely.
Isn't it nice that our children are smarter than we are?
In my case, it's very good. Here's Dunn.
Well, not mine.
And Pelfrey running into some trouble here.
Well, Pelfrey made a bad pitch in his last at-bat to Dunn. 3-2 changeup. He left up, and Dunn hit the 2-run home run. See if he fares better here. Maybe getting a ground ball. Or a strikeout.
Fouled away. Two strikes. That hasn't been the problem. Dunn has done a better job than he's done up to this point this year, keeping his at-bats alive with 2 strikes. Said he's been looking at a lot of videotape of some of his better years with Washington. He's raising his hands a little bit at the plate. Cocked behind his left ear. Foul back.
That's more the setup, and then once that pitch is delivered, then he has to lower his hands, to get into that, that zone for his power.
Two strikes.
Pelfrey needs a strikeout right here.
Fastball up high. Beginnings of some activity in the Twins bullpen. Looks like Anthony Swarzak getting loose.
Well, he hasn't really thrown that hard breaking ball down. Everything has been up to Dunn. Even the fastballs he fouled off in his last at bat, everything up. Then he left that changeup up.
Bounced foul.
Even that breaking ball right there stayed up a little bit. There's Swarzak. Pelfrey in his 5th inning had 86 pitches.
A big spot here. The Twins gave him an early 2-0 lead. Dunn covered that up with a home run. Viciedo homering leading off the 4th, and now a threat here in the 5th. 2-2, trying to clip the outside corner. And now a full count. We know about the strikeouts and we know about the low batting average, but we're done when he's going well can still add value to a team, drawing a lot of walks. Now he drew a walk in the 1st inning, hit a home run on a 3-2 pitch in the 3rd. Now another full count.
He led the American League in walks last year with 105, also strikeouts with 122.
Oh my, look at the line drive.
You know, in his 2+ at-bats, Dunn has seen now 23 pitches from Pelfrey.
There will be no element of surprise then. Pelfrey reloads for another 3-2 pitch. Pulled foul. Where Pelfrey in the 3rd inning at bat was throwing 92-93 and Dunn was late. Pelfrey doesn't have that fastball anymore.
This is where you almost have to have confidence in a good breaking ball right here to maybe freeze Dunn. Kind of what Axelrod did to Jamie Carroll.
But we haven't seen him throw that pitch very often. Another 3-2 to Adam Dunn. Driven to left, hit hard. Willingham back, playing the carom. It'll score another run. And the throw coming to second base. And Dunn is safe at second with a double. A scalding line drive off the left field fence. And it's 4-2 Chicago.
Well, another fastball away, and Dunn with his power just took it that way. Good base running by Ramirez and Rios. They saw Willingham turn and go, you know, this ball's going to be over his head. And Ramirez got a great jump. Rios at first base, went all the way to second base. He scoots over to 3rd. Willingham has to play the carom and get it back in. Dunn sliding in safely.
The damage that he has done in this series has all been on pitches away from him. And he got another one, cracked a double, and that spells the end of the day for Mike Pelfrey. season ticket family this year, you'll be hitting the sweet spot. Purchase any of the Twins season ticket packages and receive 10% off food, beverage, and merchandise bought at Target Field. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to check out the options and learn about the benefits that come along with Twins season tickets.
Well, here we are again asking a middle reliever to go extra innings. Anthony Swarzak, he worked last on Sunday in that final game against the Orioles. He worked 2 1/3 innings of shutout baseball in that 6-0 loss to the Orioles. Swarzak making his 11th relief appearance.
Twins playing the infield back here for Paul Konerko. Nobody out. White Sox up by 2. Breaking ball over for a strike. Pulled foul, 2 strikes. Twins 18-18, and they've been a game or 2 above 500, a game or 2 below 500. That's the way the season's gone so far, but they need to find a way to start consistently winning series at home, particularly against teams within their own division.
Well, again, 12 times this year the Twins have found themselves at 500.
2 strikes. Konerko takes low. Konerko with a foul out to Carroll to wrap up the first inning, and then a walk after the Dunn home run in the 3rd. Zach would welcome a strikeout here, and he got it. Konerko fans for the first out.
And unlike Paul Konerko chasing a pitch like that, too, you can see the struggles that he's going through after chasing a pitch like that. This is a breaking ball way off the plate. Not our normal Paul Konerko swing against the Twins.
Connor Gillespie will hit. One of the Twins corner infielders playing up. Gillespie has singled and fouled out to Doman. A big lift for the Twins if they can get out of this 5th inning, just down a couple of runs. The big batter here. Inside, ball 1. One and 0, time called at the plate.
Come on, Doom, get him now. Let's go.
Blocked by Doman, 2-0. Looking at the season so far, the Twins have never been more than 2 games above the 500 mark, and they've never been more than 2 games below the 500 mark. And now they'll just go ahead and walk Gillespie with the count running 2-0, now 3-0. That'll fill the bases, and then they'll try to get a ground ball off the bat of Viciedo. So now they're loaded up, 1 out, and Viciedo, who hit a ground ball to Morneau in the 2nd and lifted one over the wall in right center field in the 4th. Go back to the 1st inning. Remember, the Twins started the inning with 3 hits and got just 1 run out of it. That's the challenge now for Swarzak with the 3 hits coming in the front end of this 5th inning. Pitching change, and now Swarzak trying to keep the damage to a minimum.
Yeah, he fell behind an intentional walk, first intentional walk for Swarzak. Only the 4th walk in 23 innings pitched for Swarzak.
And as I think we concluded before, the Twins are averaging 1 ground ball double play per game. This would be the spot to get it right here. Swing and a miss.
Oh, good breaking ball by Swarzak. 18 strikeouts for Swarzak in 23 innings.
One strike to Viciedo. Laid off that one. "20 strikeouts for Viciedo in 64 at bats. He can be whiffed. Strike 2. That's Dungdoma.
Yeah, Viciedo he spent some time on a disabled list. Activated on May 10th at that right oblique strain.
David Ortiz has got I believe it's his left oblique that's bothering him. Ortiz and the Red Sox will be coming in here starting Friday night. 1-2. 3 straight breaking balls.
Yeah, another one
to center. And that'll carry deep enough to score another run. Tagging from third and scoring is Rios, and it's a 2-run inning and a 5-2 lead.
Yeah, Viciedo driving in his 2nd run of the ball game. He homered in the 4th inning off of Pelfrey. And right there, even though it was a breaking ball, still went down and showed off some of that power the young man has. Hits it to deep center field, and Rios scores the 2nd run of the inning.
And now Jeff Keppinger 0 for 2. Comebacker to the mound and a fly ball to center. Strike 1 to Keppinger. Which made matters worse for Keppinger. Well, actually not for him, more so for the White Sox. They signed Keppinger to a 3-year deal, and he's just had a real flat start to his White Sox career. That is going to be stopped in the hole by Florimon. He saved a run. Perhaps Dunn was the runner, but a nice stop in the hole by Florimon.
And that's what you want your middle infielders to do. That ball hit in the gap. It'll be an infield base hit for Keppinger. But Florimon does a good job of smothering that ball and keeping it in the infield. Hooking this breaking ball. You saw where Willingham had to come in. And you wonder if that ball got through if Dunn is sent home. But instead, bases are reloaded with 2 outs.
Here's Hector Jimenez. He struck out twice against Pelfrey. There's a strike on the outside corner, and for Jimenez, 21 at bats, 9 strikeouts. One and one. Red Sox taking the lead in the 4th, now adding 2 more in the 5th. Twins still very much in the game, but Swarzak's got to get Jimenez here with the bases loaded. Fly ball center field. Hicks over to end the inning. Twins down by 3 now as we go to the bottom of the 5th. The 3rd place hitter Josh Willingham will lead things off. Well, now it's the Twins' time to come back. At least that's what they hope they can do after the White Sox covered up an early 2-0 deficit. And Anthony Swarzak left 3 men on base. It'll be Willingham, Morneau, and Doman.
Yeah, no reliever likes to come into the situation that Swarzak, and all in all, he did a pretty good job, only allowing 1 run. Pelfrey worked the 4+ innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, all earned with a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Since we made an issue of it or discussed it earlier, in the 5 starts before the off day tomorrow, the 5 starting pitchers pitched a total of 27 in the 3rd inning.
It's too many innings for the relievers. At home. That means, you're going to have to play 9 innings at home.
Right. Willingham takes a strike. Willingham with an RBI single, pulling it through the hole on the left side in the 1st. Hit pretty much the same ball in the 2nd with runners at 1st and 3rd, but Ramirez was playing him in the hole, cut it off, and threw him out to end the inning. Breaking ball. And that's one that when Josh is going good, he clobbers. And he missed it. 0-2.
We've seen a lot of breaking balls from Dylan Axelrod.
That was actually down out of the strike
zone. Pretty good pitch.
Yep. 2 strikes. And that landed 5 feet in front of the plate. Axelrod again looking for his first win of the year. He's given up plenty of hits, or at least did through 3 innings. 8 hits through 3 innings, and then a 1-2-3-4. Just missed the corner.
Yeah,
wow.
Pretty good pitch right there. And Bellino, the home plate umpire. We'll see what Fox Track says about this fastball inside.
Said it was inside.
Inside.
Fox Tracks does not lie. I don't lie. I just get easily confused and misdirected.
Well, it's not that Axelrod has not earned a first major league win or this year, but he's pitched well. That ball hits Willingham. Nothing new. I believe that's the 6th time that Willingham has been hit this year.
So you mix in the walks and the hit batters and all of that. And Willingham, even though he's hitting just over 200, still has an on-base percentage pretty high in the 300s. And now Morneau. It has hit 2 balls right off the end of the bat. One to the shortstop Ramirez in the 1st, and then he pulled one out of the reach of Keppinger for a single in the 3rd. And through. It nearly hit the pitcher, nearly hit the second base bag, and Morneau has a pair of hits. 1st and 2nd, nobody out for Doman.
Yeah, Twins with their 9th hit, matching the White Sox in hits.
I did miss the pitcher. And then it nearly hit the bag.
Axelrod, watch out.
So now Doman, and the Twins are 1 swing away from tying it. Doman with a single his last time up. Three home runs on the year, 2 of them from this side of the plate.
I'll take one of his patented doubles right here. Doman with 8 doubles. Maybe a little gapper somewhere. Not a lot of speed on the base paths.
Strike 1. No activity in the Chicago pen, even though the Twins have 9 hits. Robin Ventura wants Axelrod to at least qualify for the win almost as much as Axelrod does. Tapper foul, 2 strikes.
He has not had a lot of run support. 4 of his 7 previous starts have been quality starts for Axelrod, making his first career start against the Twins. Again, made his major league debut here in relief back in September 7th of 2011. He relieved John Danks in a 5-4 Twins win.
Twins need to cash in here. They had a pair of singles to start the 3rd inning and didn't score. Now a hit batter and a single. Doumit in an 0-2 hole. How many times has Jimenez done that with men on base? And there have been men on base almost all afternoon long.
Well, catchers know, breaking ball, okay. If he's going to throw it short behind home plate, that's where you want to throw it. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You're ahead in the count. You want to throw that good, hard breaking ball down, and you have to rely that your catcher, you have to believe that your catcher is going to stop it. And Jimenez did.
Another one in the dirt. A nice take by Doumit. 2-2.
Very good take right there.
A little more urgency here now for Axelrod. The count is even. He doesn't want to run it full. Got him with a cutter or a slider.
Yep, little slider right there. A little quicker than that slow curveball he threw the 2 previous pitches. And Axelrod picking up a strikeout, only his 3rd of the ball game. And this one came at a right time.
So the veteran Doumit strikes out. We'll see if one of the rookies can deliver. RC is 0 for 2. Behind him, Hicks, who is 0 for 2. RC has seen an awful lot of breaking pitches, off-speed pitches from Axelrod. Struck out, or popped up, I should say, in the 3rd on maybe the only fastball he's seen.
There's an off-speed pitch there.
Out of the strike zone, but a swinging strike. Twins need a jolt. They need something hit hard here.
Yep.
One and one.
That breaking ball that Axelrod is throwing Arcia, everything's kind of been away. And that was, I think we saw it in that Boston series where Arcia was starting to slap the ball the other way to left field.
Inside 2-1. Gardenhire called that a flat-footed swing, where really no stride of any note. Just get that front foot down and let the ball travel a little bit. Matt Lindstrom warming up now in the Chicago pen. 2-1 to Arcia. 3-1 with Hicks on deck. Well, obviously Robin Ventura's commitment to Axelrod is running a little thin here.
It's got to, yeah, I mean, hopefully the win will come sometime, but White Sox need to win. They don't need to worry about Axelrod other than him throwing strikes.
See what Arcia gets here on 3-1. And another off-speed pitch.
Little cutter right there. Slider.
Well, teams have looked at the stat sheet. Arcia approaching 100 at bats, only 4 walks, 24 strikeouts. So he's a free swinger, and we'll see what they decide to give him here on 3-2. He's had 3 good takes after falling behind 0-1. Then he foul tipped an off-speed pitch. And another one got him. 2 down.
Another high breaking ball that Arcia kind of went out of his swing zone. May have been ball 4. Axelrod throwing another. Took something off that. Arcia swings through it.
Fox Sports proud to partner with Johns Hopkins Medicine, one of this year's Fox Sports supports charities. Johns Hopkins is at the forefront of groundbreaking research into autoimmune disorders like multiple sclerosis and lupus. Join us in the fight against autoimmune diseases. Donate by visiting hopkinsmedicine.org/Fox. Well, Aaron Hicks needs a big pick-me-up here. He can pick up both Doman and Arcia if he can deliver a hit here with 2 on and 2 out. Ball 1. Jimenez to the mound. Nine hits for the Twins. And other than Escobar's home run, only one of the hits has come around to score. Hicks had a really good view of how Axelrod and Jimenez went after Arcia. And he's seen a breaking pitch on the first pitch of this at bat. And a chopper to the mound.
Have a check swing.
Axelrod pitches out of it, and the Twins leave 2 more aboard in the 5th. Manny Gonzalez's expense.
Yeah, Ryan Dohm at the base hit up the middle. Watch the second base umpire Gonzalez. Nice leg kick.
Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brew Coors Light.
We're going to read tomorrow he's out with a hamstring injury.
Mel Swarzak will try to continue what he did in the 5th inning.
Well, do what the bullpen has done such a good job of, and that's put zeros up on the board late in the game. Top of the lineup for the White Sox. Wayne Wise making his 4th plate appearance. 0 for 3 so far.
The left center field, and Willingham over. Makes the catch, 1 away. Wise has been playing pepper with Willingham here this afternoon. 3rd time he's hit him a fly ball. And we said that the Twins starters in this 5-game stretch before the off day will end up going 27 1/3 innings. That means the relief pitchers, provided we have a 9-inning game here today, will go 17 2/3 innings. More than 3 innings per game. Florimo catches the liner, and there's a quick second out.
You know, sad to say, but that's kind of the way it was in April, and it's been in May. Relievers just pitching way too many innings.
Sanford Health Injury Report. It looks like Zach Greinke is going to come back and start today.
And the Dodgers need him. They are 6.5 games in last place in that National League Western Division. They are 16-22, so I'm sure they're going to be happy Greinke's back. They're not playing the Padres, are they?
No.
Okay.
No. Good idea to Rios fouling one at the plate, bring him back against somebody else. But you know what? They played poorly, but they're 6.5 games out. It's a little bit different if you're, the Los Angeles Angels. You played poorly and you're 10 games back. Now today, apparently, Angel owner Artie Moreno has given Mike Scioscia a vote of confidence,
which he should.
Yeah, but sometimes those things are followed by
see you later.
Right. 3 up, 3 down, a quick top of the 6th. Crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Every once in a while, I still catch myself looking around this ballpark on a beautiful day like today and realize how lucky I am, and I guess generally how lucky we are to have a beautiful ballpark like this. Just about every seat filled, or at least it was at the start of the game. What a gorgeous day for baseball.
Well, the ballpark was built here up in the 5-state area for days like this.
Eduardo Escobar will get things started. The Twins have not been very efficient with 9 hits, just a couple of runs scored. Escobar hitting a home run for the last run the Twins scored, and he takes strike 1. And Jimenez now coming to the mound with Axelrod
kind of bending over right there.
Robin Ventura is going to come to the mound. Not sure what happened on that pitch, but Jimenez immediately went to the mound. Now here come.
Might have hyperextended his knee right there, the way that he's going about business. Maybe a little cramp.
Looks like a Charlie horse the way he's trying to stretch out the calf muscle. Herm Schneider, longtime trainer for the White Sox.
I think it's more the hamstring. Maybe he felt a little tingle right there, the way that watch right here, the push off. It's the right push off leg. I think he just got a little cramp. Just got a little cramp out there. Yeah, trying to stretch it out.
To me, that looks like a Charlie horse, like it's in the calf area.
Well, it might be the calf too. But he kind of, when he went out there, he kind of put his hand back by his hamstring.
Well, the pitch was called a strike, and Axelrod's going to try to stretch it out here. White Sox had a pitcher warming up in the 5th. They have someone else, might very well be Lindstrom, warming up again. And Jimenez running back behind the plate. They're going to let him take a toss or two here.
Right.
Has thrown 96 pitches. In this day and age when there's pretty rigid pitch count, I'm kind of surprised they're leaving him out there. To do what? Face one or two more batters?
Trying to get maybe 3 outs here. Save an inning from the bullpen.
No. Well, that's obviously the approach. We'll see what happens here, whether the Twins somehow can capitalize on whatever the situation is. Escobar with 1 strike. And a pop-up down the left field line. Chased by Viciedo. And he makes the catch in foul territory. 1 away.
The ball kind of drifted back toward the outfield. Viciedo making the catch for the first out.
So 1 down. That brings up Florimon. Florimon 0 for 2. Couple of ground balls to the right side. Inside, ball 1. Fouled away. Well, whatever the problems with the White Sox have been, it has not involved their starting pitching, which has been pretty good. You've got of course, Peavy, who the Twins saw last night. Chris Sales had another great year. Outside, Hector Santiago pitched to a very low ERA.
Yeah, as far as earned run average, Chicago White Sox behind the Tigers and the Yankees as far as the best team ERA. And as far as starters, they're second behind the Tigers. As far as a combined earned run average.
Breaking pitch to left-handed batters has had Twins batters swinging over the top of it like a mirror image of the Steve Carlton slider. Another one in the dirt taken for ball 3. But you look at Quintana, who's had a very respectable ERA.
We saw Hector Santiago. He came in with a 1.69 ERA.
Tap foul. Twins need to get something done here. It's been a very frustrating last 3 innings.
Yeah, Santiago pitched here on Monday night. He's just kind of getting into that rotation because of Gavin Floyd's Tommy John surgery.
And Florimon draws a walk.
And I think that's going to be it as Robin Ventura goes out to the mound.
3 times through the Twins batting order, and well, Axelrod survived, I guess is the best way to put it. He gave up a lot of hits, hit a batter leading off the 5th, a walk with 1 out here in the 6th. But he's got a chance to pick up his first win of the year. He'll leave. And we have a pitching pitch count, cramp, whatever the complete reason was, he survived and has a chance to win a ball game.
Yeah, he worked out of some jams. Twins had him on the ropes in the first 2 innings. And, Twins ended up leaving now 9 men on base with him out on that mound. But he seemed to make some good pitches when he needed to. Allowed 2 runs, one coming in the first, one in the second. Florimon at first base, still his responsibility. But 1 walk, that being just to Florimon with the 4 strikeouts. He threw 104 pitches, the same amount of pitches that Jake Peavy did in last night's ball game, but Peavy went 7 very good innings.
Been a good day for the front 4 hitters in the lineup. Carroll with a couple of hits, Mauer with a couple of hits, Willingham's reached twice, Morneau with a couple of hits. They're the hitters due up now against Lindstrom.
Now Lindstrom worked here on Monday night, faced only 1 batter, and that being Brian Dozier. He struck him out on 3 pitches.
The Twins need to string some things together here. They've started some rallies, haven't been able to finish them off. Carroll takes a strike.
Lindstrom in his first season with the White Sox came up with the Marlins in 2007. Good fastball, slider, split finger.
One strike to Carroll. Foul back, 2 strikes. Carroll getting his 2 hits with 2 strikes on him, a double to left and a single in the second. Twins started the first inning with 3 hits but got just 1 run. And the first 2 batters reached in the 3rd and didn't score. First 2 batters reached in the 5th and they didn't score.
Well, Florimon with a big lead. Lindstrom steps off. Florimon with 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts.
2 strikes. Carroll takes low. Sub 200 batting average for Lindstrom, as you saw, but quite a few walks, 8 of them. Florimon goes, it's outside, and Florimon's in with a stolen base. Ramirez tried to sweep the tag, but Florimon with another swipe.
Yeah, got a good jump right there. 4 for 4 in stolen bases attempts. And one thing, hopefully throughout the summer, we'll see more of this, more running for the Twins. Only the Seattle Mariners have stolen fewer bases than the Twins, that being their 15th stolen base. With Florimon getting that left hand on the bag.
2-2 to Carroll. Hit to the outfield should get the Twins on the board here in the 6th.
Outfield playing very shallow too.
Fouled away. You know what you said there about the stolen bases. The Twins, there's only one team in the American League with fewer home runs than the Twins. A good lineup is going to do one or the other. You're either going to hit the ball over the fence a lot or you're going to be able to run a lot. That's been one of the challenges for the Twins this year. They haven't really done much of either.
And it's Kansas City that has 2 fewer home runs.
There's a hit to the outfield. Florimon around 3rd. They're going to wave him in. And Carroll gets his 3rd hit of the afternoon. And it's a 5-3 ball game.
Well, looks like he got a fastball and hit it right back up the middle. Jamie Carroll driving in his 4th run of the year. And it's a 5-3 ball game. Fastball. Jamie doesn't try to do too much. Take it right back up the middle, which he does. And Florimon with his speed, thanks to the stolen base, Twins down by 2. So that run charged to Axelrod. His line is done. 5 1/3 innings, 3 runs, all earned.
Here's Mauer. Pair of singles and a ground out to second. Over for a strike. Checked his swing, or did he? Strike two.
Jordan Baker, the third base umpire, saying Joe went.
Yep.
But Joe has him right where he wants him, 0-2.
Well, Carroll has 3 hits today with 2 strikes, and Mauer has made a living at it. Also has racked up a lot of doubles this year, 15 of them. Outside, 1-2.
Lindstrom last year started the season with the Orioles, then traded over to the Diamondbacks, became a free agent, signed with the White Sox over the winter.
One and two to the Twins' designated hitter. 2-2. Something to say to his pitcher. Matt Thornton warming up in the Chicago pen. The only lefty they have out there.
Well, Lindstrom almost winds up to throw over to first base.
You get picked off, you were cheating, right?
Or sleeping.
Thornton warming up in case Morneau comes up. 2-2. He got jammed, but got a piece of it. Pretty much the same pitch that Axelrod threw a lot of left-handers.
And that slider stayed up right there. Joe fouled it off.
For the Twins. White Sox have the only 2 home runs. I beg your pardon, Escobar has one for the Twins.
Forget about Mighty Mouse.
To the left field corner. Fair. A carom right to the left fielder. And they throw to Ramirez. Had they thrown to second, they would have held Mauer at first.
There's another bad decision right there by an outfielder for the Chicago White Sox. We saw Diaza go to the cutoff man the other day when I believe it was Justin Morneau that went from first to second. And right here, Viciedo plays the carom perfectly, but this throw has to go to second base. Joe taking that breaking ball the other way. Oh, by the way, he was 0-2 at one time in that at-bat. And Viciedo throwing it in, everybody pointing at second base. But that allows Joe Mauer with another double, his 16th double of the year.
Now a hit to the outfield might tie the game. Willingham has reached twice. He's hit 2 hard ground balls toward the hole. One was intercepted by Ramirez for an out. Hit by a pitch his last time up. Fly ball. Headed toward the seats and out of play. 1 strike. Lindstrom getting it up into the mid-90s.
Yeah, these 2 guys were teammates one time with the Florida Marlins. Josh Willingham and Matt Lindstrom.
I think at the start of this inning, Twins need to string some things together. Well, there you have now a walk, a single, and a double, and one more hit might be enough to tie it up. Swing and a miss. Another 95-mile-per-hour fastball. And now Willingham's behind in the count, 0-2. Ekstrom might air it out here because whether he gets Willingham or not, I assume Thornton has been warmed up to face Morneau. Inside. Around the hands, 1-2. .23 hits for Willingham, 13 of them for extra bases. Grounded toward the hole. A run will score. Willingham has hit 3 ground balls to the same spot. 2 of them have produced runs. It's a one-run ball game.
Yeah, second RBI of the ball game. That scores Jamie Carroll. And it's a one-run game.
So now Morneau will face Thornton with the tying run at second and 2 down. Willingham with a couple of runs batted in, feeling a little bit better at the plate now. And Ventura comes out to get Lindstrom. It'll be the 3rd different Chicago pitcher of the inning. And it'll be lefty against lefty with the lead on the line.
There you go. You are here by some.
And it's a one-run ball game with Matt Thornton ready to face Justin Morneau, and he is our century link to what's next.
Well, Matt Thornton, you can see how he has fared against Justin Morneau. 5 hits and 31 at-bats. Justin's been able to do against Thornton. Now, you mentioned only one lefty. They had Donnie Beal in their bullpen earlier this year, but he was optioned out. And then Hector Santiago, who the Twins saw on Monday night, another lefty that was in the bullpen. So that leaves only one lefty, that being Matt Thornton. Thornton in his 8th season with the White Sox. Good fastball, hard slider.
Morneau hasn't had much luck against Thornton. 5 for 31. Single here or there. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of double plays. Hoping to get a hit here to get the game tied up. Inside, ball 1. Oh my, they call that a strike. Jordan Baker called it a strike.
Justin just trying to get out of the way of that fastball in. Take a look right here.
Oh yeah, I guess he did. Look, the bat went through the hitting zone, even in his check swing attempt. So 1 strike to Morneau. And another one. This one is going to stay fair. And Jimenez comes out of the catcher's box, makes a play. Morneau retired. The Twins get 2 but leave 1. It's a 1-run game.
on this kind of check swing by Justin. Watch the ball right here. Jimenez picks it up, and he sees that this ball might roll foul. Instead, right on the line. That's a fair ball. It was a good job jumping out behind home plate and getting that final out. Nice defensive play.
See the check swing. The ball landed a few inches behind the plate, but with the topspin spun forward, rolled right up the chalk line. So it's a one-run game, and now Brian Dunsing comes in to face the White Sox in the seventh.
Yeah, Dunsing worked in last night's ball game 2/3 of an inning, picked up a strikeout, threw only 6 pitches, 5 for strikes. Twins lost the game last night 4-2. Dunsing making his 17th relief appearance. Done a great job out there. Very good, 1.76 earned run average.
He'll face the 4, 5, and 6 batters for Chicago. That means Dunn, Konerko, and Gillespie. Whatever adjustments Dunn executed, they seem to be working. 3 strikeouts in the series.
Yeah, one of those strikeouts last night against Brian Dunsing, the first batter that Dunsing faced in the 8th inning.
Today, a walk, 2-run home run, and RBI double, foul back, 1-1.
He might have missed his pitch right there, because now Brian will throw that hard breaking ball. That's what struck him out last night. Good sliders.
Strike on the outside
corner. That breaking ball. Good job by Anthony Swarzak. 2 shutout innings.
Two and 2. Well, he kept that 5th inning from completely blowing up, giving up 2, but and having a 1-2-3 6th inning.
Yeah, he only allowed 1 run to score. You know, the RBI double by Dunn that basically chased Pelfrey, but then Swarzak came in and only allowed 1 of the runners to score.
1 hopper. Carroll to Morneau on the way. Grand Casino story of the game. Some power by the White Sox.
Yeah, Eduardo Escobar for the Twins, hitting his 2nd home run. But here come the White Sox and their power. A 2-run home run by Dunn in the 3rd inning. And then Viciedo taking a pitch the other way. Axelrod kind of worked his magic here. 5 in the 3rd innings. He's the pitcher of record right now. On the win side.
1 down, and here's Paul Konerko. Ball 1. Konerko with a foul out, a walk, and a strikeout. We saw him strike out on a pitch about a foot outside and low. And he gets a base hit to right field. So the very thing that Ron Gardenhire saw in Willingham yesterday, some encouragement, not just the hit, but where he got it. I would imagine Robin Ventura is happy to see Konerko get a base hit to the opposite field.
I'm sure Paul Konerko's very happy at that. You know, and that's when we see Konerko. He's not a guy that just, you know, he's got over 400 major league home runs. He doesn't just pull everything. You know, he's such a good hitter. He'll take the pitch where it's pitched and hit it that way. And that's exactly what he did right there. Fastball away, didn't try to pull it, shot it into right field.
Here's Gillespie. Single eventually was intentionally walked in the 5th after Swarzak fell behind 2-0. Strike 1. Astros with a chance to steal one in Detroit. It's 5-5, top of the 9th at Comerica Park. Astros 10 wins in 40 games.
They need some wins.
They're on a pace to lose 120 games. Swing and a miss. And the Miami Marlins not far behind them.
Josh Renicky getting loose.
Two strikes. Little pop up, and that's going to die in center field. So Gillespie has a couple of hits. Konerko moves to second, first and second, one out.
Gardy coming out to make a pitching change.
Viciedo will hit. Dunston giving up a couple of scratch singles. Scratch so far with one out in the seventh. And it'll be Josh Renicky coming in with the White Sox threatening to do some more scoring in the seventh. Punch singles through the infield. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
Well, Josh Renicky coming in to hopefully pick up Brian Dunston. He left a third of an inning, a couple hits, runners at first and second. Renicky worked here on Monday night, an inning and 2/3 in the 10-3 win over the White Sox through 23 pitches, 15 for strikes. Allowed only one hit, no runs. He did strike out 3. Renicky has only had one bad inning, and that was here against the Orioles, where he gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning. Other than that, he's been lights out of that bullpen.
I just mentioned it in passing. The Twins have not turned a ground ball double play yet today. Renicky would like to get Viciedo to hit one at somebody. Ground ball to Morneau in the second, a home run to the opposite field in the fourth, and a sacrifice fly with 2 strikes in the fifth. Fouled back on strike. White Sox with 11 hits. They've left 7 men on. They left the bases full in the fifth when they scored a couple. Fouled at the plate, 2 strikes.
Yeah, runners in scoring position today. The White Sox are 3 for 8. The Twins are 3 for 15. It's not good.
No. Twins scratched a couple of runs across in the bottom of the 6th to make this a 1-run game. 2 strikes to Viciedo. Keppinger will follow. And Viciedo lays off the breaking ball. 1-2.
Talked about Konerko staying healthy. This is a guy that they want to stay healthy too. Viciedo in his first full year last year hit 25 home runs, drove in 78 in 147 games. Just 24 years old. The old man has a lot of power.
Popped straight up in the air. Who wants it? Morneau. And a collision. Morneau finally caught it with Renicky right there.
I think Renicky saw Domet having trouble picking up that ball, so Renicky went over there, didn't know if Justin was going to get there in time. But it's Justin that ends up a little bit higher glove, I guess, because both of them went for the ball. You see Domet fighting the sun.
Morneau with the catch. You know, I think it was on the road trip. Ron Coomer and I were talking about those flip up or flip down sunglasses that Morneau's wearing. It looked that time like he flipped them up and then looked up into the sky to find the baseball. And you don't see those flip up sunglasses much anymore.
Well, it's just nice. It's nice to have the sun as a bother. You know what I mean?
Yes. You know, there
so
wasn't
many games in April we didn't see the sun.
Lose a ball in a snow squall. 1-0.
Good breaking ball there to even a count.
Now, I believe it was in Cleveland where Pedro Florimon had an issue with the sun, and he never did wear sunglasses and isn't wearing them now. Sun shining directly on him. There's a ground ball, and it's past Escobar. And down the line, it'll score Konerko. Being waved around third is Gillespie. Here's the throw to the plate, and it's a 2-run at bat for Jeff Keppinger. And Escobar looked like he had that ground ball covered, and it skipped right by him.
That ball hit pretty sharply. Escobar going to his right, went down after the ball, and the ball skipped right by him into that corner. Keppinger gets his second hit of the ball game. It stayed underneath his glove. He is anticipating that ball coming up. You hear the crack of the bat, how hard that ball was hit. And the White Sox get the 2 runs back that the Twins were able to put on the board in the bottom of the 6th inning.
A double for Keppinger, and now here's Jimenez. 2 runs charged to Dunston. First pitch up and away, ball 1. Punched to short left. Florimon, without the sunglasses, makes the catch. Couple of runs for the White Sox, and their lead grows back to 3. Reynolds makes seeing a game here at Target Field an extra special experience. The most suites are spoken for this year. They do remain available for the holiday week of July 1st through the 4th, when the Twins host the Yankees. Yankees Series suites accommodate from 16 to 50 guests, and that includes food and beverage. You can find out more by calling 612-375-7454 or visiting twinsbaseball.com/groups. Well, the Twins trying to come back again, down by 3. Ryan Doumit will lead off the 7th. Matt Thornton got Morneau. A couple of pitches to wrap up the 6th. Doumit takes up high, ball 1.
Now Doumit now is a right-handed hitter where he's hitting .286.
Be followed by Arcia and Hicks. Bounce right of 3rd. Doumit as a right-handed batter hitting quite a bit better than from the left side, hitting .286 coming into the game today. Pop up short left. Viciedo with the catch, 1 away. That'll bring up Oswaldo Arcia.
Come on, see.
Arcia so far hitting lefties, just 22 at bats, but hitting them at a .273 clip. And a fastball, strike 1. Couple of strikeouts and a foul out for Arcia against the right-hander Dylan Axelrod. 1-1.
Fastball away.
Fouled away. 1-2.
Lefties are hitting only .160 off of Matt Thornton. Came in making his 19th appearance. He had worked only 11 1/3 innings. A couple walks, 5 strikeouts.
Chopper off the plate, and Thornton stretched out to make the grab. 2 down.
6'6", Matt Thornton.
Come on, Hicks, come on.
So now Aaron Hicks.
Come on.
Center fielder Aaron Hicks.
Hicks with a foul out, a fly ball to center, and a comebacker to the mound.
One thing that Thornton has been since he became a Chicago White Sox back in 2006, he has been healthy. Thornton amongst American League relievers since 2006, first as far as games. This is his 491st game out of that bullpen.
Nate Jones warming up. Another switch hitter Escobar behind Hicks. 1 strike. 2 strikes since his 2nd home run here the other night. Hicks is 0 for 6. Oh and 2 to Aaron Hicks. 1 and 2. Foul tip, and Jimenez hangs on. Hicks strikes out, and Thornton's faced 4 men and retired them all. center field. Hunter to the wall. Did he get it? Oh, what a catch! Driven to deep center. That ball is tattooed. Hicks to the wall. Legs.
Did he catch it?
He caught it! Unbelievable! And you have cast your vote for Aaron Hicks. Most of you on our AT&T Twitter poll. And Aaron Hicks has passed Torrey Hunter as to which catch was the better catch against the White Sox.
They were both great catches. That's pretty close voting there.
Yeah. Dwayne Wise, the batter.
Thank everybody for their vote.
And a comebacker. One away. Wise retired. He's 0 for 5.
He's just happy he didn't hit a fly ball to Willingham.
That'll bring up Alexei Ramirez. The White Sox are banking on the fact that this slow start they are off to is an aberration, and that they'll be able to get to and then beyond the 500 mark. What we've seen from the Twins so far is kind of bobbing along the surface. Game or two above the 500 mark, as many as 3 games below. A foul away.
I think what we've seen from the Twins today is the inability to get that big hit. 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They had some chances, and they may still have 2 more good at-bats coming.
1-1 to Ramirez. Pulled foul. I don't know that anyone thought that the starting pitching would be a strength of this Twins team, but it has not been what it will need to be if the Twins are going to continue to stay at 500, maybe get beyond it and be a contender this year. At the knees, and Ramirez knew it. 2 away.
Ramirez striking out for the 2nd time in a ball game. Renicky picking up his first.
And Alex Rios with 3 more hits today.
Now Rios, who's coming off a very good year last year. Good series so far here today. A triple in the 1st inning, single in the 3rd, and another single, and he scored in the 5th. Scored a couple runs. Rios last year hit .304 for the White Sox, so expect him to hit right around there, drive in some runs. He drove in 91 last year, hit 25 home runs.
2-0.
Breaking ball, then fastball in.
And now 3-0 with Dunn on deck. A 4-pitch walk puts Rios aboard, and Dunn will have a chance with a man aboard.
Good day at the plate for Dunn today. A walk in the 1st, a 2-run home run in the 3rd, then an RBI double in the 5th.
And time called. Twins have seen Dunn at his best this year. If you just watch the Twins White Sox games, you never know that it's been such a terrible start for him.
Rios, who stole a base in the 3rd inning. Twins throw over.
Up on the way. Not a sellout, but 35,613 paid attendance here today. I can't think of any place I'd rather be than at a ball game on a beautiful day like today. That ball is crushed. Adam Dunn with another home run into the bullpen. And again, a pitch away from him. And he drives it well over the fence in left center field.
Yeah, his second 2-run home run in a ball game. 5 RBIs in this game for Adam Dunn.
And there's no doubt about these when they leave home plate.
No, not at all. White Sox take a 9-4 lead. Fourth home run that Renicky has allowed.
The Twins keep throwing it in the same spot, and he keeps doing the same thing with it. Up and away, and he blasts it. So now 9-4, season high in runs for the White Sox. And Konerko, the batter. Single to right, scored in the 7th inning. Twins bullpen springing a leak here in the series finale.
You know, if the starter doesn't go deep enough, and we've seen this time in, time out, it puts so much pressure on that bullpen. And you cannot expect 3-4 guys to come out of that bullpen night after night and go their best. Let them say make some mistakes.
I've mentioned this before. Art Howe, when he was managing the Oakland A's, told me once, he said he hated using more than 3 pitchers, because the more pitchers you use, the better chance you run of somebody just having an off night. Right. And if you look at it that simply, that's what's happened here. Here's a pop-up right side, and Morneau, sunglasses down, tracking it and giving away to Carroll, who makes the play, and that's the end of the inning. But some more damage done with 2 outs in an inning. This time again, it's Adam Dunn, as he did in the 3rd inning. Another 2-out, 2-run home run, and it opens up the game for Chicago.
The top of the 8th to make it 9-4 Chicago. Be sure to stay with us after the game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll talk about a job well done for the White Sox today. Adam Dunn with 5 RBI in this game alone. We'll also talk about Jamie Carroll and his veteran presence both in the field and at the plate. And of course, hear from manager Ron Gardenhire. All that and more on Twins Live after the game. Dick and Bert.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie.
Frustrated manager right there. This game an important one for the Twins. You don't want to lose home series to divisional opponents, and the game was right there, and the Twins got to within one, but then the next 4 runs went to Chicago.
Well, good job by Matt Thornton. He's being relieved here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Matt Jones coming out of the bullpen, making his 15th relief appearance. 0-3 out of the bullpen, 16 innings pitched, 8 walks with 13 strikeouts. Jones in his 2nd season with the White Sox.
Twins hope to get at least a couple back here in the 8th. Escobar leading things off. And he takes up an away ball 1. Escobar, Florimon, and Carroll.
Parmalee on deck. He might be pinch hitting for Florimon.
Two 2-0. You know, you look at the White Sox struggling coming into this series, and within everything that's happened here, I think a very stark reminder of the difference in the demeanor of the current manager as opposed to the former manager. In this series, Robin Ventura just calmly but sternly gave a warning that if guys didn't want to pay attention, they'd find somebody else to do that. He had everybody show up here hours before the game yesterday to do some just basic fundamental stuff.
In full uniform.
In full uniform.
Right.
But I suspect, well, I know what happened. When Ozzie Guillen was managing the team wasn't doing things well. There was a much more emotional confrontation with his roster. And a strike called 3-2. But I think that's the change in personality of this team. Just as insistent in doing things right, but he got his message across, I think, in a far different way.
I think over the 3-game series, we've seen the pitching staff, starting staff for the White Sox, and we've said the numbers, pretty good starting staff, pretty good bullpen, but you have to play good defense.
Ciedo with a catch. Escobar retired, 1 away. Let's get caught up with what's happened here today.
Well, for the Twins, it was Escobar hitting a solo home run, that in the 2nd inning. But for the White Sox, they showed off some power, as they did yesterday. Adam Dunn, a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Viciedo hit one in the 3rd deck yesterday. Hits one to right field today. There's Viciedo's home run to right field. And Adam Dunn, another 2-run home run in the 8th inning.
Parmalee takes a strike on the outside corner. Parmalee hitting for Florimon.
You know, even though the White Sox have made 30 errors, that's the most in the American League, it's sometimes the little things, you know, like the other night, Diaz throwing the cutoff man and allowing the runner go from first to second. Earlier in this game, it was Viciedo with Joe Mauer up. That throw had to go to second base, and he hit the cutoff man going to 3rd. Those are the little things that sometimes don't show up on the scorecard, but those are things that can create more runs for the opponent.
You know, one thing, too, you look at the lineup, and it's hard to quarrel with what hitters 1 through 4 did in the lineup, or even Doman, who went 1 for 4 to this point. But you look at the last 4 spots in the batting order, and you simply don't have many major league at-bats there. You've got Arcia, Hicks, Escobar, and Florimon. A lot of inexperience. And the Twins had a lot of opportunities, but a lot of opportunities were presented to those young players in those at-bats.
Twins are still 18-18, playing 500 baseball, and I think of the 18 wins, usually it's the lower part of the lineup that helps contribute to the guys in the middle of the lineup. Here today, it really hasn't, other than a home run by Escobar.
Would you notice that when a player like Plouffe isn't in the lineup, and he doesn't have 1,000 at-bats, here's a bouncer to short. Ramirez has it. 2 away. Back to the top of the order in Carroll, who's got 3 hits. Mauer has 3 hits. Willingham's driven in a couple. Morneau with 2 hits.
Well, he started the game off bottom of the 1st inning with a double. He scored the first run for the Twins in the first, and then a single in the second, and then an RBI single in the sixth, and later scored. Well, good day at the plate for Jamie Carroll.
Carroll trying to get something going here in the eighth with 2 outs. Want to know.
So too many pitchers like Jones that really brings that right hand up, almost like, you know, a quarterback just before he releases that ball home. Tale of 2 seasons for Jones. Last year he was 8-0 out of that bullpen for the White Sox. Comes in this appearance 0-3. Struggling a bit with his control. 8 walks for Jones in 16 innings pitched. 8-0 last year, 65 relief appearances, 2.39 earned run average.
Two and one.
Take a look at his release right here. When he lifts that leg up, see the arm going straight back. Who does that too is Justin Masterson does a bit of that.
Yep. Trying to think who it was. But he's the guy. 2-2. And now ball 3 to Carroll. Astros beat the Tigers 7-5, scoring late on the Tiger bullpen. Back to the pitcher. Jones has a 1-2-3 8th inning. Beautiful day, but the Twins are in danger of losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox after losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles in the front end of this homestand.
Well, Glenn Perkins coming in, pitching the top of the 9th inning. Perkins missing some time. See Brian Dozier, who now taking over at second base, and Escobar, who's at third, now at short, and Jamie Carroll moves from second to third as Parmalee pinched hit for Florimon last inning.
First pitch sliced foul. 1 strike. Yeah, Perkins had a little tweak in an oblique. Just felt a little twinge. Wasn't a pull or anything like that, but given his history and how he had serious issue on the other side a couple years ago, the Twins wanted to make sure that they let things quiet down, and Perk says he's fine.
Well, with the day off tomorrow, it's good that Perk's out there just to get some work in right here. Make sure that's okay.
And we see the fastball at 96. 2 strikes.
Gillespie, a couple hits in today's ball game. 2 for 3, an intentional walk.
And late on another 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Indians beat the Phillies 10-4. Corey Kluber beat Cole Hamels. Pop straight up in the air. And second baseman is Dozier. He makes the play. We just got some very sad news, and most of you probably don't know who Fred White is, but Fred was a longtime broadcaster for the Kansas City Royals, and he just passed away of complications from melanoma. Fred and Denny Matthews teamed just a great 1-2 punch on radio. I've worked baseball games with Fred, obviously, but also some college basketball games, known very well in the Midwest area for his great abilities as a sportscaster. But I'm here to tell you, he's one of the nicest men I ever met in this business. And that's
very gentle man.
Yeah, just really sad. 1 strike to Viciedo.
Our condolences and prayers go out to his family.
Saw Fred a few weeks ago when we were in Kansas City. He introduced me to his son. Viciedo with 2 strikes. And a base hit to center with 2 strikes. Viciedo's second hit. Day off tomorrow, as Bert mentioned. Then the Red Sox come to town for 3, and the Twins will see 3 starting pitchers that they saw in Boston. Clay Buchholz, Ryan Dempster, John Lackey. The Twins will answer with Worley, Diamond, and Pedro Hernandez.
Yeah, Boston staying in there. Yankees right now leading the American League Eastern Division, then Baltimore, and then Boston.
Alejandro De Aza running for Viciedo. And we mentioned it early in the broadcast today. David Ortiz has had a bit of an oblique pull. Says that's one of the reasons his hitting streak ended. So we'll have to wait and see whether A, he plays, and then B, whether his swing is impacted with a rib cage strain. Foul back, 2 strikes.
Keppinger with a couple hits. Infield single in the 5th. That Florimon knocked down to load the bases, and then a 2-run double in the 7th inning.
To center, hit right at Hicks. Out number 2.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Hector Jimenez will hit, and there's Brian Olmogrosso warming up in the Chicago bullpen.
Yeah, Jimenez as a right-handed hitter now. 0 for 4 as a left-handed hitter this afternoon.
Yeah, Jimenez takes as wild a hack from the right side as he does from the left.
Just his 4th plate appearance as a right-handed hitter. He's 1 for 3.
Looks like if you throw it where he's swinging, he can hit it a long way. Called strike, 0-2. Excuse me, 1-2.
I mentioned before, not a lot of major league experience prior to this season coming in. He played in only 11 major league games between the Astros and the Dodgers and the White Sox last year.
You just saw that swing there with 2 strikes, and it's been my contention that you could take the numbers and names off the jerseys, but you'll always be able to tell a backup catcher's swing. Inside. It just looks different. And he strikes out and ends the ninth inning. Twins got some coming back to do. They're down by 5. Twins down by 5. Mauer with 3 hits again today. And Brian Olmogrosso comes out of the Chicago bullpen.
Yeah, Olmogrosso just getting called up. He made an appearance here on Monday night. 1 shutout inning. He worked the 7th inning. Had a strikeout and a walk. He walked Joe Mauer, then struck out Willingham. A double by Morneau. And then retired the next 2 batters.
Mauer, Willingham, Morneau, and then the Twins hope about 6 more.
Diaz staying in the game when he pinch ran for Biciedo. Takes over in left field.
For fans who think that the Twins might make some changes with the starting rotation, we should tell you that Kyle Gibson did not have a good outing last night, coming off his was a 4-hit, 9-inning shutout the time before. He needs to string a few together, one would think, before he would get a look up here.
Well, Terry Ryan himself said, hey, great for him. He pitched a great ball game, but can you do it over and over and over? And we're going to give Gibson time to find that consistency. He only went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs. So.
Right. Threw a lot of pitches, didn't throw enough strikes. Here's Mauer leading off the 9th for the Twins. One of the other options, Samuel DeDuno, isn't even on the 40-man roster, so they have to make an accommodation there.
And P.J. Walters, he's pitching pretty well down there too.
Cole DeVries in the mix. 1 strike to Mauer. Not sure where that missed, but it did. 1-1. Single in the first, single in the second, and a slicing double into the left field corner in the 6th. Same spot, this time called a strike. Mauer 2 games off his longest career hitting streak And it's the longest in the American League right now. Morneau right behind him. And Joe strikes out. A pitch well out of the strike zone, 1 away.
Well, Grosso comes in, gets a strikeout for the first out. You know, we have the off day tomorrow. Who's going to appreciate the off day more is the bullpen. My goodness. In this 3-game series, they worked 10 2/3 innings. Way too many innings for that bullpen. And we've seen it so far too many times this year.
Here's Willingham. RBI single, RBI ground ball, 1 for 3. And strike 1.
Grosso with that fastball, a slider, curveball, and a changeup. There's the curveball.
0-2.
Made an impression last year with the White Sox. 17 relief appearances, 2.57 earned run average. No record out of the bullpen.
Up high, and it's 1-2.
Out of Indiana State, Omar Grosso signed by the White Sox in 2006.
One and two to Willingham. 2-2. In a perfect world, the Twins wouldn't be trailing 9-4, but within the context of Josh Willingham, what would be better for Josh, who struggled for 3 weeks or so, than to click on one and hit one out right before the off day. Scooped up by Dunn, 2 away.
I'll save it for when it counts. Starting Friday against Boston.
Okay. Another good day for Morneau with a couple of hits, although he hasn't really blistered the ball like he has so often in the course of his 11-game winning streak. It's nice to see Justin standing up there with an average of .308. Also nice to see him with 28 runs batted in the top 10 in that regard. And Ron Gardenhire says just generally he's much more active. We've seen him score sliding in at home, diving around first base. Well, the Twins lose 2 out of 3 to the White Sox after losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles, and now they'll have a day off and hope to regroup in time for the Red Sox.
Couldn't have said it better right there. They need a day off. Starting staff needs to get ready for this 3-game series against a very good Boston Red Sox team. So yeah, you lose 2 out of 3, you move on, and hopefully they can do that to the Boston Red Sox.
Adam Dunn, a big stick for the White Sox, Tom Hanneman, in this series, and the Twins lose 2 out of 3 to Chicago.
Dick, safe to say the Twins were done in by the White Sox on their first baseman with a pair of home runs. Twins Live is up next. We'll talk about Adam Dunn, and we'll hear from Ron Gardenhire.